Hey everybody, it's Heather and I am going to attempt to re-upload last Freaky Friday's 5 Kids Who Kill with audio that you can hear. Let's begin. So first we're going to start with girl A. That's what we're calling her because Japanese legal procedures wouldn't allow anyone to know her name, which is fine because I feel like, you know what, she doesn't deserve one. Anyway, she was 11. And just as a disclaimer, throughout this whole video, 11 seems to be like the number. So if you have siblings, children who are 11, go ahead and make sure you're on their good side because they're probably gonna murder you. Okay, so girl A, she murdered a 12-year-old classmate. They were supposed to be at lunch, but somehow girl A convinced her victim to come into an empty classroom. And there she proceeded to slit her throat with a utility knife. She left her body there and went back to class looking like Carrie at prom and just sat there like nothing had happened. Obviously, the teacher was not blind and saw all this blood and went to go find the source of it, called the police, blah, blah, blah. So girl A said that she was completely justified in what she had done because the victim had bullied her on social media and had called her a goody-goody. And I think that there might have also been some like cracks about her appearance and stuff, but it seemed that goody-goody had really gotten to her, which I don't find that offensive. That was like in high school and college when people would call me an overachiever and say it like it was nasty, and it was just like, wow, I'm so offended that you think I'm smart. I don't know I don't know. So anyway, I guess if I had taken that sort of stuff seriously, I would be like a serial killer. How does that feel? You're welcome. Anyway, so yeah, just horrible stuff. Kids these days, I tell ya. And that happened in 2004, by the way. Number 2, Jordan Brown. He was 11 when he killed his father's fiance. Her name was Kenzie Marie Hauk. She was 26 and she was pregnant. Yeah. This happened in Pennsylvania in 2009. Apparently, Jordan was super jealous of the baby who was due like really soon, like less than a month, kind of soon. They were going to turn his room into a nursery and I guess give him, I don't know, like a guest room or something. I mean, they weren't just gonna like dump him on the street. So that did not sit well with him. So he shot her in the back. He had like a youth model shotgun, and so he shot her in the back. She died, and the baby died as well. He spent over 3 years in juvenile detention facility, and he's still trying to get a new trial because he and actually many other people are convinced that he's innocent. He had appealed for a new trial in 2014, but it was denied. Next, in 2013, a 13-year-old boy, whose name was never released in Sao Paulo, Brazil, killed his police officer parents, his grandparents, and his great-aunt. After he had committed these killings, he went to school. I do not understand. If I killed somebody, even if I'm a lunatic, I think what's going to be happening in my head is I'm like, okay, I need to run or I need to accept that I'm going to be caught. And if I accept that I'm going to be caught, this is like an interactive story. If you choose this, if I accept that I'm going to be caught, I'm going to be like in bucket list mode. Like, what do I want to do before I'm, in jail for the rest of my life? On that bucket list would not be school. Can I get an amen? No. Anyway, the boy had shot all the victims with a .40 caliber. The boy had shot all of his victims in bed with a .40 caliber pistol, and when he got home from school, he shot himself with his police officer father's gun. pretty awful. When the police found his body, he had that gun in his left hand, but they actually found a .32 caliber revolver in his backpack that he had taken to school. No one knows if he had intended to do something at the school or if he just had that with him, but certainly it's great that he didn't kill anyone else. What's chilling about, well, I mean, it's terrible, but what's kind of spooky about this is that he was apparently inspired by the Amityville murders, which, I mean, you can definitely see the resemblance. Apparently a couple years before, he had posted a picture of the Amityville ghost boy. Have you seen that picture? We'll talk about it. Remind me. On his Facebook, and basically went through and was like, you know, here's how this guy killed everybody, and you know, the ghost is reportedly of one of the boys that he killed, and blah blah blah. And he was very impassioned about it to be so young, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. Don't think that if you're young that you can't have, you know, kind of macabre interests. I mean, hello. But, you know, certainly looking back, it should have been a red flag. Next, Jasmine Richards. She was 12 and her boyfriend was 23. His name was Jeremy, and he murdered Jasmine's parents because they didn't like him. Clearly, he was no prize. He broke in, he killed her parents, and then he demanded that she kill her little brother. I like to think that if this was me, if I was in this terrible situation, even if I was madly in love with this guy in my warped 12-year-old head, that if he looked at me and said, kill your sibling, that I would take whatever weapon I had, whatever weapon he had just given me, and just kill him. Because I just can't fathom, I can't. So, apparently she really struggled with it too. She was, stabbed him once and then she couldn't. So he took the knife and slit the boy's throat. Jasmine was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder and given 10 years with credit for 18 months that she'd already served. Yeah, 10 years does not sound like a long time, but you have to remember that she was 12, so they couldn't do much. This happened in Alberta, Canada in 2006, by the way. She then spent 4 years in a psych ward and then would spend 4.5 under kind of psychiatric supervision. Jeremy was sentenced to 3 life sentences for first-degree murder. Lastly, and probably most disturbing to me, is Mary Bell. The day before she turned 11, she strangled 4-year-old Martin Brown. This was in the 60s in Scotwood. She did this in an abandoned house. I guess she didn't enjoy doing it all by herself, so somehow she convinced her friend, Norma Bell, they're not related, to help her carry out another murder. But first, they broke into a nursery and left notes everywhere saying basically that they had committed this crime. Police dismissed it. They thought it was a prank. And because of that, the 2 girls were able to kill another little boy. 3-year-old Brian Howe was killed 2 months later. Mary used scissors to cut his legs, his arms. She carved an M in his stomach. She mutilated his body, his genitals. She cut his hair. And I think the whole thing is disturbing. I mean, I don't think you can have a level here, but one of the most disturbing things to me that has always stayed in my mind about this case is that Mary, at 11, after she had done it, she had no remorse, and she said, well, he doesn't have a mother. No one's going to miss him. She was 11. She was 11, and she was that dark that she was like, you know, he's worthless, basically. That scares me a lot. The 2 girls were charged with 2 counts of manslaughter, but you have to remember, again, they were young girls, so, you know, you can't do a lot to kids, especially in the 60s. I mean, So, just to make this even more nightmare-inducing, Mary's out and about now. Not only is she out and about, she's got a new name, She's got kids and she has grandchildren. She's married. Like, look, I believe in second chances. I believe that, you know, people can get better. But this, I mean, this is not just like she had some things to work out. She murdered these boys. I mean, whew. So I just can't wrap my head around the fact that some guy was like, I love her. But of course, you know, people are sick. So there you have it. Anyway, the high courts did grant her anonymity, so don't know what her name is. But if you live in Scotwood, watch your kids. I don't know. What's good advice? I don't know. Godspeed, everybody. Does it look like I have cat ears? Oh, meow. Okay, anyway, hope this audio was better. God, I hope this audio was better. I feel like I've tried to re-record this like 4 times, and things kept happening. I kept getting interrupted, and so finally, it's done. Maybe it'll be great. Okay, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Heather and Radley. This is the sweet little noisy thing that you hear sometimes in the background of my videos. Anyway, I had a minute or two so I wanted to re-record the video with horrible sound, and hopefully this one will be better.